and welcome to Sports Extra, your very own program. As you know, this is the Independence Week, 14 August on its way. Just a few days left. From today, every day we are going to be discussing the glory of each sport in Pakistan: hockey, cricket, squash, and even tennis. Today we are starting off with Pakistan's cricket history in the last 70 years or so, the glorious moments we've had in these 70 years. When did we play the first test match? Some of the great moments that have spurred Pakistan cricket to its glorious heights, and we are going to be talking about that. We have two very, very special guests here in the studios, the right people to discuss these events in the last 70 years, people who have devoted their life to cricket in many ways, and of course you are going to have fun with them discussing the events of the past 70 years, the glorious moments, some of the best innings, some of the great bowling spells, World Cup wins, etc. So without further ado, I'm going to be going to my guests and talking to them. First, let's introduce them and then talk to them. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Saab, how are
assalam.
you?
How are you? I'm very fine.
And my dear friend Shaji, how are you?
Fine. Lena, how about you?
I'm well, and like I said in the intro, it'll be great fun talking about the past 70 years. We played our first test match in 1952, of course, and you two gentlemen would like to perhaps go earlier than 1952 and talk about those events. So Zazi Saab, I'm going to start with you and ask you to discuss your first memories of Pakistan cricket and whatever else you want to discuss about the cricket board, etc., when it used to be BCCP, etc.
Though I was not there to see creation of Pakistan.
Yes, yes.
But
I'm not trying to imply that you're
I
that
still
old,
remember.
but yes, yes.
I still remember. I've got 50 years of experience watching cricket, writing on cricket, commentating, and blah blah blah. Well, I was 10 when I started following the game, and I can feel proud, like my friend Chishti Mujahid, who has completed 50 years in cricket. Well, when Pakistan was created, the system of cricket was here. I mean, Lahore, Karachi, they were already very well established centers of cricket in United India too. So when on 14th of August Pakistan was created, nobody had to do anything big. I mean, this was the Lahore was the city which had produced A.H. Kardar, who was playing for India. Then Fazal Mahmood was there. He was, in fact, Islamic College Civil Lines fast bowler, and he was touching the entry into Indian cricket side. So Pakistan was created, and this part of the world had got first-class cricket, and this they had to wait for, I think, 3 years, as you were saying. Pakistan started their tour to India as a full member in 1952.
Yeah, that
so
was the first.
I think that was the shortest period for any cricket team to enter into international horizons of cricket.
Shaji, yeah, please.
Just to add something, you know, Yaver Syed, son of Pakistan's first ever captain, of a non-test playing, I'm talking about non-test playing captain. Pakistan, at that time, Pakistan was not in a position to get
Pakistan
test status.
was playing unofficial
test, that mean. And he was very close friend of mine, and I used to sit with him and chat about Pakistan cricket history. And he told me at that time, it was say 20-25 years back, that his father, Mia Syed, he was instrumental in bringing all the Pakistani players who were, residing somewhere. Some were in Karachi, some were in Bahawalpur, some were in Lahore, a few were here in Rawalpindi, and invited them for a meeting so that they can, form a Pakistan cricket team, Pakistan 11 at that time. So they can play against the touring side, or if possible tour. So Mia Syed took the first step towards the formation of Pakistan cricket team, and for the next 2 years he stayed as the captain of Pakistan, first ever unofficial test team, or we can say that at that time didn't play test, but that was very much, the team was very much there.
Okay. Now, my first question, which I was going to ask you, was going to be about Fazal Mahmood. Now, Fazal Mahmood is known as Oval Ka hero because in 1954 he bowled a fantastic spell at the ground, Oval cricket ground. He, I think, got 12 wickets, if I'm not wrong, and Pakistan won that Test match and drew that series.
And Leena, he got 12 for 99 on the 1952 tour to India.
That in
Fantastic.
Lucknow, that
At
Pakistan
Lucknow,
won.
he got 12 for 99.
So this was his second 12
Yes,
wicket.
yeah, that was second
And
Great.
it was the
Fantastic.
same. It was the same test in Lucknow where Nazar Muhammad scored century.
And he carried his bat through.
Carried his
That's
bat through.
Mudassar Nazar's father. Yeah.
And Pakistan achieved their first ever test victory in Lucknow, beating India. After losing the first test, they went on to beat India in the second test in Lucknow.
Okay. Now, talking about that Fazal Mahmood spell at the Oval, he got 12 wickets. He was a very, very handsome man, bowled really fast, could swing the ball. What do you think was so special about that spell that he, even when I was growing up, I knew who he was.
Leena,
I knew
one
about
correction,
that
he
spell.
was not very fast.
True.
But the thing which was very impressive were his leg cutters. He used to pitch the ball on the off stump and cut the ball away. These were the balls which got most of his wickets.
Absolutely correct, because even Dr. Zafar Altaf spoke very many times about the leg cutter in these studios. So the leg cutter was special. He had this aura about him. He had blue-green eyes, handsome, tall man, and then that victory in England. And the fact that Pakistan and India just gotten independence from England and winning that test match against England, was that very important and one of the factors, in your opinion, that spurred our cricket on and made it so glorious?
Absolutely. I think if you say that Fazal Mahmood was truly the first Pakistan cricketing hero, you can easily say that, and you can easily judge him as a cricketing hero. First ever Pakistani cricketer who has shown the world that Pakistan has got the ability to beat the best teams in the world. And once I was reading about Fazal's biography as a how he got into the cricket, how he started playing or bowling like the way he was doing in international cricket. And he was in that book he was telling that wherever he got open space.
And you guys on our screens,
That's right.
Shaji and
Wherever,
Zaidi Saab,
whenever.
you can see the beautiful visuals of that match and Fazal
That's
Mahmood's
very much
bowling
part of
visuals
history.
and
So he tried to use that space, and he tried to bowl with stones. And and he started learning the art of bowling by throwing stones and using that same action, not ball in his hand but the stone is in his hand.
and the famous headline also that
Yes, England
are
fuzzled.
puzzled.
Puzzle,
Yes, England
puzzle.
fuzzled.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic work by our production team
when he
also.
helped Pakistan win their first ever match against India, and then later at Dover, I think the mainstay of his bowling was the swing, the line and length, and the control he had got over the ball. That was tremendous. I think even for the English batsmen who were ruling the world at that time, it was something new. It was
And do you
something
know,
surprising.
in those days in Pakistan, the test matches and first class matches were played on a matting.
Matting wicket.
Yes,
I
when
heard
the
about
ball
this,
used to
yes,
pitch
yes.
there, it used to cut away. So it was difficult for batsmen to face it and play it. And second thing, you were talking about the fastest Muslim in Asia. If you have heard the name of Nisar Hussain,
Oh, absolutely,
with him
yes, I have.
was Amar Singh.
Yeah.
Nisar belonged to Lahore and Amar Singh was from East Punjab. Well, that was the fastest fast bowling duo which the cricket has seen in this subcontinent. In those days, keep in mind, there were no speedometers.
Meters, yes,
So we
yes.
don't know how fast they were.
Yeah.
We know about Shoaib Akhtar, but we don't know anything about Nisar Hussain.
And who was Fazal Mahmood's partner at the Oval
Khan
Test?
Muhammad.
Because-
Khan Muhammad
yeah.
was one of them.
Yeah.
Mahmood Hussain was the other one.
Okay, so it was a three-pronged pace attack.
Yes.
Very interesting to, in those days have a three-pronged pace attack and then one of them getting 12 wickets and becoming a hero forever.
54 tour was the first one where I think it was a big achievement for A.H. Kardar. And so he started moving towards the glory. And he was more commonly known as skipper rather than a captain.
Absolutely. You just stole the words right out of my my tongue. And because, I was going to talk about Shaji, also talk about Dr. Saab, Dr. Zafar Saab. And he often here in the studios, he taught me so much, and everyone else who was here in the studios learned so much from him. He told us the difference between a skipper and a captain. He said there have been two skippers for Pakistan and everyone else has been a captain. One, of course, Kardar Saab, and the other, the gentleman who won us the 1992 World Cup. So in his opinion, only two skippers and the rest just captains. So let's just also talk about, because this is a...
And at that time, the team was also divided into the educated ones and, of course, from humble background.
Absolutely.
Kardar had got his education from England.
England, yes.
And he had got high degrees. And on the other hand, cricket used to be a common man's game, even at that time in Pakistan.
Absolutely. And now see, we touched upon Fazal Mahmood and also Kardar Saab, who was one of Pakistan's greatest captains, a skipper in the words of many greats. Now we are going to talk about Fazal Mahmood, because we have to go down the ladder and discuss the great moments of some of the great moments of Pakistan cricket. Another one is the 337 at Bijtan by Hanif Mohammad, and of course Zaidi Saab and Shaji can
Well,
shed-
if you
shed
have
more light.
read the book written by A.H. Kardar, its name is Green Shadows. That is on 1957-58 tour to West Indies. Then you will come to know how Hanif Mohammad played for those 337 runs.
And in that book, I haven't read the whole book, but I've read some parts of it. I read that when he took his shirt off after coming back after playing that that innings, because there used to be no no extra padding, helmets, etc. He had bruises all over his body
I want to
because he
quote-
had faced 4 fast bowlers.
I want to quote an incident. West Indies at that time had got Wes Hall and second was Griffith. The only person from Pakistan who has interviewed Griffith is our friend Qamar Ahmad. He now lives in England.
What a great guy.
Yes, he lives in England now, Griffith. Well, India team was visiting at that time West Indies, and Nari Contractor was the batsman. And he writes, Nari Contractor, that so fast was Wes Hall and Griffith that, and you very correctly said there were no helmets at that time.
And no padding
On
for the
one
rest of the body.
particular delivery, Nari Contractor was hit on the head. He fell down, he was taken to hospital, that was his last test match. After that, Griffith's delivery, he could not continue on playing.
And Shaji, let's talk about Hanif Mohammad's technique. I mean, we discussed some of the other aspects, no helmet, no extra padding, 337 runs against Griffith and Wesley Hall, etc. 4 fast bowlers, if I'm not wrong. How good was his technique that, he survived and paced such a long innings, and then he wasn't hit on the head or no such incident where he had to go retired hurt or something. How good was his technique?
Leena, he was true, a classic test batsman. And that was no doubt the best innings he had played, but he had also scored 499 in a domestic cricket match. So, playing long innings, staying long at the wicket, and breaking one record and the other record, and continuing with the same win for days after days, or session after session, was his forte, I think. And he has proved in that time that Pakistan has got the batsman, got the potential. He has got the potential of a world-class batsman. And everyone at that time, every cricket, I think, critic and those who covered sports at that time rated him as one of the best in that era.
Lina, I've seen him batting. In 1969, when Colin Cowdrey brought a side to Pakistan, he played Hanif Mohammad played a 3-day as an opener at Faisalabad, then Lailpur. Well, there are 3 little masters in subcontinent. The first one is Hanif Mohammad,
Yes.
second one is Sunil Gavaskar, and third is Sachin Tendulkar.
Absolutely correct.
These 3. I have heard an interview given by Sunil Gavaskar. As Shaji was saying, Hanif was classical. As written in the books, he was perfect. I mean, there used to be a good stance. There used to be a twirl of bat, touch of cap, and he used to stand on the crease like a true batsman.
Well done, Saab, well done, because I can just imagine someone touching their cap and, you know.
Yes. Sunil Gavaskar said, I used to copy Hanif Mohammad's stance. This is a big compliment to any batsman. Hanif played 55 test matches, scored 3,915. These were the days when Pakistan used to play lesser number of test matches.
Yes,
so this was a big score.
Yeah.
So Gavaskar
average almost
copied
44.
40 something,
Yeah,
yes.
43.94, I think.
So it's a big achievement for Hanif that he got compliments from the other little master from Bombay, Sunil Gavaskar.
Absolutely agreed, because Gavaskar was a great player also.
And I have seen his cover drives, perfect, coming in the line of the delivery. John Snow used to be one of the fast bowlers from England. David Brown and Jeff Arnold too. Well, he was perfect. He scored 55 runs in the first innings. I cannot forget those 55 runs.
Absolutely.
No, I haven't seen him playing. Just I've heard what
Yes.
he was about and how he took his batting seriously. But the one thing is that he had set the standard for Pakistani cricketing, for Pakistani batsmen, for the rest of the Pakistani batsmen to come. And the way he gave Pakistan that best, that Pakistan cricket, that best that was required at that time, I think that from there on, everyone else built on the building on that.
Some of the visuals of a 1954 match, Fazal Mahmood
Yes,
bowling.
Fazal is bowling.
And you can see how he sometimes comes so close to the crease, and then he does cut away also from the crease. So
And most of his deliveries, they resemble that like a leg spinner.
Yeah, the way he bowls, it's very interesting, and I love the the kids, so smart, so stylish, because these were some special cotton in those days. They didn't have this material.
He's also son-in-law of me and Syed.
Yes.
Beautiful visuals and fantastic work.
I think the balcony looks like to be
production team
that
once
of
again
oval.
to acquire them and sort of get them, people to see them. Fantastic. So, okay, now let's moving down the ladder. Another contribution actually that Hanif Saab has made to Pakistan cricket is not just those innings, but the fact that he gave his brothers, after following into his footsteps, so many of his brothers played for Pakistan. I think Wazir and
Wazir was there in 57, 58.
And he scored
Yeah.
a double century there also.
absolutely, and Wazir and Sadiq and Mushtaq, these three played for
Yes,
Pakistan.
yes. 69.
Yeah, and Mushtaq, such a fantastic captain. I remember his captaincy in 1978 series against India,
India, yes.
and
So
that
then
is when I started to
that-
follow cricket.
Before that, 1976, when
He was
Okay, I
captain.
don't remember
took the
76.
team
I
to
must have
He
been
was
very,
captain
very
of
late.
Australia.
West Indies and Australia.
Yeah, in my book,
And
I'm
I still
actually writing
remember,
about
I
that.
still remember Port of Spain test match where Mushtaq scored a century and then got 5 and 2, 7 wickets in the test match.
And how well did he handle, difficult characters like Wasim Raja as a captain in West Indies
And
also?
this
I
is
mean,
the same series
And
in
Sarfaraz
Wasim,
Yeah, Sarfaraz
in
Nawaz.
which Wasim scored more than 500 runs.
absolutely, and there was some debacle over his, there were some issues over his discipline and how well he handled Wasim Raja, and he delivered.
There are two batsmen from subcontinent. One is Mohinder Ramanath, the other one is Wasim Raja. They really destroyed West Indian bowling.
And it wasn't easy to play the West Indian bowlers even till the 80s, 90s, till the point when they had, Ambrose and Walsh. Those bowlers, those were last of the great bowlers that West Indies produced. But they had, and this is Nehru Cup, some glimpses of Nehru Cup, Fazal Mahmood. No, actually, this is later. Actually.
This is Javed?
This is much later.
This is
Now we've got colors, so now this is much later. Yeah.
no, this is in
This is Javed stroking the ball.
Yeah, so we were about to, 1986, we were about to talk about Javed Miadad's sixer, which I think was the Australasia Cup in 1987.
Yes, Sharjah.
Yeah, Sharjah. That is another innings that changed Pakistan's cricket.
But
I mean,
Lena, just go back to 1978 series.
okay, let's do that.
Where India toured Pakistan.
Yes, after many years.
After a long time. And here Pakistan defeated India 2-0
Yeah.
in test cricket, test matches. And
the last sessions, if you remember,
both tests,
they chased
only
about
test-
6 runs and over
Only one test match was drawn, that was at Faisalabad, the
Faisalabad.
first test
because
match.
of the wicket.
Because of
and
the
Pakistan won the rest of two, and it was Imran Khan who played, decisive role both in bowling
Hitting the
and,
sixers
and in
against
batting.
Bedi, yeah.
Pakistan was to score some quick runs in the last session, and Imran helped Pakistan achieve target on both the occasions. And it was Imran Khan who destroyed the career of Bishan Singh Bedi.
And Miadad was also helped Imran.
That's right.
I think Lahore test
And
match.
speaking of Miadad, we've got his pictures when he was about to hit that 6 against Chetan Sharma, and Tausif Ahmed was on the
Miadad destroyed his
non-striker
career
end.
too.
Yeah, fantastic. and non-striker
before
end,
that,
Tausif Ahmed, the
that
current Pakistan selector.
Prasanna, Bedi, Venkat Raghavan, these were the Chandrasekhar, these was the leading spin bowlers India had produced, and they dominated, the rest of the world. They helped India.
Not Pakistan.
Not Pakistan.
Yeah.
They helped India win so many matches at that time in late 70s, early 80s. But when they were pitted against Pakistan, when they were asked to bowl against Pakistani batsmen, and majority of the Pakistani batsmen, they handled them very well, and it was the turning point for them. From there on, they were no more that effective for the rest of their career.
Absolutely. We were talking about the 1978 series, and we talked about Imran Khan destroying Bishan Singh Bedi, and how in those 2 test matches when Pakistan was chasing close to 6 runs and over in the last session, Miadad, and in one test match, Asif Iqbal helped.
Yes, Asif Iqbal was the player.
Helped Imran Khan. Let's also talk about Javed Miadad's running between the wicket. I mean, he ran like a hare between the wickets, how he fielded close to the batsman, silly mid-off, and all those things, his cocky nature, how did those things affect Pakistan cricket?
I want to start with one fact, that Mushtaq Muhammad and Bishan Bedi, they were closest of friends, and they used to play for Northamptonshire. Mushtaq was the captain there.
Yeah.
Well, to defeat a side which was led by his best friend,
Yes.
it must have been very, very big achievement. And that was, I think, the second series that of Mushtaq Muhammad. First was in Australia in 1976, and then in West Indies in 77, 78.
Yes.
Well, it was third series.
Yeah.
Well, Mushtaq's credit is that he taught Pakistani players how to win the test matches.
Absolutely. Aggressive declarations.
Keep in mind,
Yeah.
Mushtaq was, when he was Northand's captain, he won the Gillette Cup for his side. He performed very, very well in English county cricket system. And when he picked up Pakistan's side, Pakistan used to lose all the matches which could be won. Intikhab's captaincy, Intikhab Alam, we have forgotten about him, 72, 73 onward.
But we were talking about people who made some solid contribution.
The biggest allegation on Intikhab Alam was that he was also a right-arm leg spinner.
Defensive.
And he took, on his first delivery, he took a wicket, first ever.
Colin MacDonald in 1964. Well, he always underbowled Mushtaq Muhammad because both were leg spinners.
Yeah. These things happen in cricket, like for instance, I remember that I thought, and I could be wrong, that for a little while, the reason that Yasir Shah came late into Pakistan cricket is because Shahid Afridi was still in the side.
And then Shadab came.
Yeah, and then Shadab came. So that way, Yasir's been unlucky also. So similar thing between Intikhab and
And there
I
are
think
so many other
Mushtaq.
leg spinners like Usman Qadir, Usama Mir, they are all in the field.
Yeah, so many now, and they're all pretty good. So what else about Miadad? His contribution, he was from Karachi, he ran really well, he was street smart.
I was sitting inside the stadium. Pakistan versus New Zealand, 1976, when he scored 163 runs on his debut match. Well, with him was Asif Iqbal, he scored 167. 350 runs partnership between these two. That is, I think, a record for Pakistan.
The same series where I think Majid scored century before lunch.
At Lord's,
At Karachi.
also before
Against New Zealand.
Against New Zealand in the last test match at Karachi.
and also he got 1 century before lunch at Lord's also.
No. That was the only time.
After Don Bradman, he is the only player who scored a century before lunch in 1976 in Karachi test.
Against New Zealand.
Okay,
Against
I thought
New
it was
Zealand.
Lord's. I
Well,
don't know why.
Miadad, how did he get his 100 runs? I still vividly remember. He was batting on 88.
That's the same series where Harun Rashid got a lot of runs also?
No, that was against England.
Okay.
Well, he is facing, Javed Miandad, he is batting on 88. Dick Collins, Richard Collins is the bowler, left arm fast medium bowler. He first bowls a full pitch delivery. It drives him through the covers for a boundary. Second delivery, another boundary. At the same place, third one played on the onside, another boundary, and he got his century.
Fantastic. That's some bravery. That's some, because when you're close to your 100, we've seen often that batsmen go into a shell from 95 to 100. They sometimes take 7-8 overs because they go into a shell. They want to, psychologically not get out. So, they just want to get each run very slowly. And sometimes during that course of those 5-6 overs, they lose their wicket also. We see that also. But then Miada was such a brave player that, like Zaidi Saab just told you, he hit 3 4s to get his century in style, and that is what he was all about, the running between the wicket, how he was so brave and cocky. Sunil Gavaskar has stories about him, how he could bother the batsman when he was close to the wicket by saying little things to the batsman in his ear, and so he was a real character. And Pakistan cricket and all cricket all over the world, we need characters for cricket to flourish. And Javed Miandad certainly was one.
And you must not have forgotten Kiran More's jumping in the air.
Absolutely, and him imitating.
That was in Australia.
Yes.
1992 World Cup.
Absolutely. And the next topic that we've got to discuss is the 1992 World Cup. This was World Cup where Imran Khan was the captain, the skipper. He was one of the main reasons why Pakistan won that 1992 World Cup. Just before that, India had won the World Cup in 1983. So what in now Pakistan, if India wins something, then Pakistan has to. And if Pakistan wins something, India has to. That is how the story goes. So in 1983, India had already won the World Cup, defeating the West Indies team, the very, very highly appreciated and built to win the World Cup. But they won that World Cup by bowling really well and getting, I think they got the West Indies out on 142, and they quickly won that. So what happened was, in Pakistan had to win that World Cup. 1992 Imran played. It was towards the end of his career. But Pakistan had Wasim Akram, who was bowling really well. I mean, and he was an all-rounder. He could get you runs. We had some other talented players like Aqib Javed, Mushtaq Ahmed, the leggy. Aqib was bowling well with Wasim. And just before the World Cup, Waqar Yunus, who was Pakistan's spearhead, had been injured. So Imran was in a spot of bother. But in came Aqib Javed. He partnered Wasim really well, so he had a good bowling attack, and with the help of these youngsters, he won the World Cup. And what a World Cup that was, 1992.
Well, you are forgetting the credit goes to Allah Almighty. Everybody was looking.
Absolutely.
Everybody was looking.
It was the month of Ramzan, and of course,
everybody was looking towards the skies.
Yeah.
And you correctly said it was, in fact, not a single man's effort. It was a team effort. Who can forget Inzi's beautiful batting against New Zealand in the semi-final? And who can forget about Javed Miandad? Javed played a beautiful World Cup. He can never forget that. Those 50, 60 odd runs and building up partnerships and putting the pressure on the other side. I mean, nobody knows it better than Javed Miandad.
And what about Imran's delivery to Ellen Lam, and also the other delivery?
Wasim Akram.
Wasim Akram's.
Pakistan, Lina, you must go 5 years back. Pakistan was all set, and Pakistan was one of the favorite teams to win the 1987 World Cup, jointly hosted by Pakistan, India, and at that time. And they were truly favorites. The team was, consisted of
Till Salim Jafar's over.
some of the best batsmen, best bowlers. Everything was going Pakistan way. And in semi-finals, I think we were unlucky to have lost the match against Australia when McDermott bowled brilliantly, took 5 wickets for Australia, and Salim Jafar lost over, cost us 17 runs. And there was all, but at that time Imran Khan
that was the bad
announced as a retirement.
Okay, so after that we didn't win any World Cup you can see the visuals
Then-
of the
then
92 World Cup, the delivery
Then
he
that
took-
was bowled to Lewis.
That's right. Imran took his retirement back and decided to play 1992
What a
That
World
is
Cup.
delivery. I
fair,
mean-
brother. Is he fair, brother?
No, Lewis and
Chris
Lamb.
Lewis.
Lamb, yeah.
Lamb and Lewis.
And
Lamb
keep in
and
mind,
Lewis.
Lamb used to play in the same county in which Wasim Akram used
And
to
he
play.
said that he still hasn't understood what the delivery was all about.
The two
deliveries.
best deliveries I've ever seen,
Yes,
and
that's
many of sports journalists, many of the
And
sports
especially the
followers
reason,
I've ever seen,
the reasons those deliveries were special because they were bowled from around the wicket.
around the wicket.
Not over the wicket, but from around the wicket.
They didn't have a clue. Both the batsmen didn't have a clue what's going on, how.
And this is the 1996 World Cup when Wasim was a little older. He still bowled fantastically well. Unfortunately, we were in the final, but we couldn't win.
This is 1986.
I think this is 86.
No.
This is
This is one of the matches
96,
in between.
96.
This is one of the matches in between. Champions Trophy.
Lovely wicket keeping by Moeen.
Yes, absolutely. Here, Wasim is a bit more mature, he's put on a little more weight, but still bowling fantastic. You know, he was still a great bowler.
So at that time, definitely the Wasim was at his best. Wasim Akram was at his best.
Between-
Mushtaq was bowling beautifully.
Yeah.
Aqab Javed is giving
Somehow he
full
faltered in the
sport-
final, you know.
Full sport to
You are
Wasim
talking
Akram.
about 1999.
99, yes. 99,
Shaji, that
we
was,
faltered in the final.
1999, I covered the entire World Cup in 1999 touring with
I
the
covered
team.
it too.
touring
Well,
with the
Pakistan
team.
were the hottest favorites. Unfortunately, that bad decision by Wasim Akram after winning the toss
Yes.
and electing to bat.
Yes, absolutely.
And on
a
32
wicket,
was the
on a
target set.
wicket which was, giving so
Seaming.
much favor to the bowlers because of
Yes.
seaming, there's overcast conditions.
You know, Leena, days after 1992 World Cup, till the 2007, I think some of the Pakistani cricketers didn't play to their best ability.
Absolutely, I agree. And there were some
that
great
was
players in
because-
that era.
That was because I think they could have won many matches. It was totally unbeatable team at that time. That Pakistan
What were
raised.
the reasons, do you think,
As you know, everyone knows what was the reason.
some bad wicket keeping behind the stumps? There's some test matches we could have won. I remember the one in Sydney that we could have won, but Kamran Akmal dropped
every player were
numerous
true,
catches.
True match winner. I'm talking about the era starting after 1992, when there were so many great players in the team, but somehow. In 1999 World Cup, I was there. With me was Sarfraz. We were sitting at Nottingham, and the way Pakistan lost against Bangladesh, it was surprising.
Once more, you can see that Lewis
surprising for
wicket.
everyone.
Fantastic. Even the Lamb wicket and the Lewis wicket, both wickets were fantastic. Okay, now let's just move on because we got to discuss some
And
more
again,
stuff. Yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
I missed, I think. Shoaib Akhtar rose to the prominence in 1993-94. That was after playing national under-19 cricket in Pakistan. And when the New Zealand cricket team toured Pakistan, Rawalpindi team that were national champion at that time was the only team that defeated New Zealand under-19. And that was the first match played at the Pindi Stadium, newly raised, newly built Pindi Stadium. And in that match, Shoaib Akhtar took 8 for 32. I still remember I saw every ball of that match coming into the ground early in the morning. And that was the time Shoaib should have been in Pakistan senior team. And it took him 5 more years.
I think he played 98, the
98.
series
Shaji,
versus Australia.
Oh,
Shaji is
yes.
talking about those days when this was newly constructed stadium. There were spiral stairs, and we
stairs.
used to go
My
to
God,
the
it was
top
so
of the
dangerous.
world,
It was so
and there was
dangerous.
no hiding us from the cold wind of December, and we used to cover the matches.
Absolutely. And then the next thing we are going to discuss now is the 2009 T20 World Cup that we won under the captaincy of Yunus Khan. But for me, one of the main reasons why we won that World Cup is Shahid Afridi, because before the World Cup, he gave a statement in the press saying that he really very badly wants to win at least one trophy. before he retires or says, bids adieu to cricket. And because he was so focused and wanted it so badly, he played really well. He was promoted up the order. He batted well for Pakistan, and with responsibility, he bowled well. He was fielding really well, and we all know that Shahid Afridi's enthusiasm could be infectious, and it was, and that is why I believe it was teamwork, of course, but he was a big catalyst for me why Pakistan won that.
Lina, one of the psychological reasons was that Shahid Afridi always felt very comfortable with Yunus Khan. So this was one reason that he performed in whole of the World Cup.
And Shaji?
Pakistan has won 3 world titles: 92 World Cup, 2009 T20 World Cup, and now 17 Champions Trophy.
Absolutely, we're coming to that.
But the thing is, Lina, in the title they have won in 2009 was absolutely marvelous, because Pakistani team dominated right from the word go start, and they finish it off with the style.
Shari, but unfortunately, it has not been discussed that much.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Unlike
because it's
1992
always
World
ignored.
Cup, they luck favored us, and the match against England was washed out, and we got the very, very crucial point at that time.
Okay.
Here again.
Once again, this topic is not going to be discussed too much because we are short of time and we have to move to the Champions Trophy. So Champions Trophy was fantastic. All our previous woes were washed by the cricket team. All the mockery that we were facing by the Indians on their channels, mauka and all that, we finished all that once and for all. What a great tournament for Pakistan.
That was, yes, of course,
Syed,
and we all covered together.
Yes.
Well, one thing we must remember that while playing the first match against India in the league match, the way Pakistan lost, whole of the nation, in fact, was devastated.
Absolutely. I mean, this was one just before.
And then Mickey Arthur, of course, Shoaib Malik and others, senior players, Hafiz, they all picked up the boys from the lowest to the highest.
Absolutely. After that crushing defeat against India, they came back, and in the last match, India probably faced their biggest defeat ever. And just a day before, I was talking to some international channel, and I was with Mr. Gavaskar, and he said that that India is going to win that match from 6 wickets. And I reminded him that we were still leading India from 21 matches, a head-to-head one-day count. And we did. We were in good momentum, Shaji, and we won.
Oh, that was Pakistan started the Champions Trophy as an outsider. No one was ready to give them any chance because they were ranked they were nowhere in the best of form. Every player was struggling to put up good show. And the way they started and they were beaten by India in the first match, everybody thought that it's all over for Pakistan. Many
heroes we got from that match. I mean that tournament.
Well,
Shadab, Fakhr, Amir, Hassan. So many young heroes.
Well, it would not have been a tastier match like this had there been no India.
Absolutely. Against India, it's different. Yes. And because of that, now we believe, and we all believe, I'm sure, and you'll agree with me, Shaji, that Pakistan one-day cricket was going down the ladder, rankings going down. Because of this victory, I think we are going to spur up the ladder and rankings.
Title makes a huge difference. You know, when you go on to win title and that too world title like Champions Trophy,
where the best teams are playing.
Best teams are playing. It makes a huge difference, and it definitely give a boost to your morale, lifts your confidence level, and players that was totally ordinary before the start of Champions Trophy are now our heroes. They have started a new life, a new public enthusiasm is behind them. Public is now eager to see these players like Fakhr, Shadab Khan, Hassan Ali,
Sarfaraz
these youngsters, Sarfaraz captain, each and every match. They are desperate to see them again after the Champions Trophy. So it is great to see them.
There are some highs and lows in that too. Highs are that you have got younger players to play in 2009
And we've got some heroes out of it. And
2018
19.
World Cup, you have got
Absolutely,
you have got a very good side now
Okay.
to think about the future.
Absolutely.
The
Thank
worst
you very
thing
much,
is,
Zaidi Saab.
the worst thing is that you are not getting those one days to get practice.
Absolutely, and I agree with both of you. We've got some heroes and players that can go up to
19 World
another 5 to 10 years now, some young players. So thank you very much, Zaidi Saab, for being here and discussing this whole scenario starting from 1947 and up till the Champions Trophy. And Shahji, thank you very much for your views and being here this evening. We managed to cover from 1947 till the Champions Trophy, and that's been some fantastic going. We discussed some of the great players, some of the great tournaments we won, Fazal Mahmood, Hanif Mohammad, 1992, 2009 briefly, and like Shahji said, we always tend to ignore it. Today also we didn't get much time for me. Wasim, Waqar, Shoaib Akhtar, and the current lot, which is going to serve Pakistan cricket so well. I hope you enjoyed the show because we did cover 70 years of cricket for you, and we also managed to cover what is going to come in the future, because these young stars are going to serve us in the future because they won a big title for us. So our salute to the players starting from 1947 till now, the cricket players, and how they've entertained us in these 70 years, entertained the whole nation, made us forget our woes and worries. Thank you very much, gentlemen. May you live long. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thiago Motta, Thiago Silva is there, Danny Alves have there. So I think that's sort of a pulling factor for him. He felt a bit aloof, he felt a bit isolated at Barcelona, and now with his Brazilian teammates, his very good friends over there, that might be another reason why he wants to actually go there and feel more at home. With that, we get that Brazilian samba flavor back at a PSG.
Right. We're going to leave it at that. Ali, Waleed, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you on. That's all we have time for. Keep watching Sports Extra on PTV World. See you next time. Bye-bye.